Hello everyone. Now you will hear a fast recap of the film The Night Comes For Us. At the end of the video you will be very surprised. Enjoy watching. To maintain order, the Triad created a group of 6 killers who can take any action to solve problems. This group was called the 6 C's. The Triad fighters have just cleared out the village and killed the last inhabitants in front of Reina, the only surviving girl. As she was dying, her mother managed to take her hand. The squad is led by one of the 6 C's, a killer named Ito. He took a machine gun to execute Reina. However, the man spared the girl's life and killed all the bandits instead. He hid the child with his girlfriend Shinta. And who is this child? It's better for you not to know, for your own good, freak. For my own good, I thought you were dead. Shinta panicked, so she called Fatty, a former gang member. I'd asked a friend to get new documents for him and the child, although it won't be easy to hide from the Triad. Fatty didn't come alone, but with his nephew Vishnu and a fellow drug addict fighter Bobby. They hoped to get help from Aryan, the most influential gangster from their former group. The Triad sent a gangster to Macau. He keeps order in a nightclub. A local gangster beat up a waitress and began to insult Aryan himself. The gangster cut the thief's face and easily killed all his guards. One of the 6 took a girl hostage, but this did not save him. Afterwards, Aryan returned to the gangster and stuck a broken bottle in his mouth. The Triad member was informed about the incident that took place in the village. And that's all, your friend the traitor. There are 20 bodies of villagers and 7 dead gangsters lying on the shore. The only thing missing is the Italian girl. Aryan must board a plane, return to Indonesia and deal with his former friend. Xianwu is a member of the 6 C's group. He told me that the villagers were massacred for stealing their goods. The girl will cause us problems. In any case, the authorities ordered her to be killed. It will be a warning to competitors. Aryan grew up together in the local ghetto. The authorities see great potential in Aryan. Solve the problem with Ida, and all this will be yours. Bobby told Ida that a certain Johan stole the old gang's money. He became a big shot in the Triad and seized power in Jakarta. Before escaping, Ida got his money back. Johan was just cutting up a man in his butcher shop. The guy reached for a gun. Because of this, Atalo hit him in the nose. The killer demanded that he bring him the money. Right now the squad has 6 CS and I have 7 butchers. One of the butchers went behind Ito and immediately got a bullet in the head. The others attacked the man with cleavers. They tried to chop the intruder into pieces, but they themselves were stabbed, strangled and beaten to death. Johan called all his men and opened fire with a shotgun. Ito took a rifle and smashed Johan's leg. Finally, he got his money. However, he did not notice how an armed squad arrived here. The shooters riddled Johan with bullets and captured Iko himself. He no longer answers the phone, and the friends realized that something was wrong. Bobby and Shinto were about to go outside, but they saw a squad of thugs who had come here for the girl. Bobby pushed the woman out of the elevator and stabbed the first 2 fighters with a knife. The others had already taken aim at Fatty and Vishnu. Bobby began to scream and laugh like crazy. He was immediately shot, but the bandits were distracted, and the relatives were able to fight them off. It turned out that the reckless Bobby had survived. He had used the iron plate as a bulletproof vest. Let's kill them all slowly, Bob. We need to kill them all, kill them all. It was too early to relax. There was a whole crowd of bandits with vices behind the door. The friends had to fight off these thugs somehow. Bobby fought like a lion but received more and more knife wounds. Meanwhile, Atacasio realized that he was in a police special forces car. Well, that means he'll have to take out the COPs, especially since they also work for the Triad. Soon the entire squad was killed. Ido blew up the last one with a grenade. The car turned over and the fighter was able to break free. In the far room, Vishnu was protecting a girl. He's not much of a fighter, so the guy was seriously wounded in the stomach, but he still didn't let Reina be hurt. At the same time, Fatty killed his opponents. True, he was wounded in the back. At the end, these were all Johan's men. Now Chenview sent his elite fighters. The killers were ordered to kill everyone they saw. Alana took out her curved cookery knife and slashed the stooges. To warm up, Bobby asked Fatty to run away with the child. He would sort this out himself. However, the killer only needed a couple of seconds to kill the big guy. At the same time, Alma joyfully cut the cherry's throat with a string. She wanted to do the same with Fatty and the girl, but Aryan stopped the Chinese woman. He threw a jacket over her head and knocked her out with a kick. Then he took the girl and Fatty to the car. The man guessed that it was Aryan who gave them up to the Triad. Only he knew where Fatty lived. The Triad left me no choice. Forgive me, Fatty. I understand that. Fatty was about to leave the parking lot, but mercenaries started shooting at him from all sides. Despite his wound, Fatty continues to fight. He shot at the crowd with the machine gun he had taken away, and ran over the rest with his car. Unfortunately, they were not going anywhere in it. Fatty looked at Reina and slowly drove forward. The brave fighter was shot with a dozen guns. However, the girl was no longer in the car. Suddenly, all the mercenaries were killed by an unknown person. A professional killer nicknamed the Cameraman came out of the darkness. Hearing the police siren, she disappeared again. Reina had been hiding under one of the cars all this time. I ran into the parking lot. Reina immediately ran out to the man and hugged him. Ida, who lost all his friends and his girlfriend, left him. What is your name? Reina, and my name is Ito. And Uncle Fatty told me that your name is Bald. In fact, Fatty did not kill his friend. Carrion appeared to Chenview with all his mercenaries. It turned out that the murder of his former friends was planned from the beginning. It was necessary to clean up the city, and the girl was just an excuse. If Iranrian wants to become one of the 6 Cs, he must kill it. That way he will take his place. At night, it thought that someone broke into his house, and so it was a fight broke out between him and the operator. Moreover, it is the woman who mainly does the killing. Itold is beaten to such an extent that he can no longer resist. The operator was going to execute the man, but Reina came out of the room. Please do not kill Uncle It. The hired killer was ordered to eliminate all members of the 6 Cs. He admitted that he himself went against the organization. At some point, he got tired of killing innocent people. When he saw Reina, he realized that it was time to change his life. After listening to the killer's story, the operator disappeared as quietly as she had appeared. Aryan remembered the moment when their old gang broke up. 3 years ago, Bobby wanted to sell drugs and got involved with the Triad. They decided to screw him. Even then, Aryan was fired up with the idea of becoming a member of the 6 Cs, the elite of the Triad, together with Italy, in an organization to make peace and save the lives of the rest of the old gang. The operator is in Aitana's house. If he is no longer one of the 6 Cs, maybe he will then help her get close to Chenview. In response, Ifal protects the girl. The killer understands that they will not let him go, so he must strike first. Ida arrived at the warehouse, the shelter of the Triad dogs. So you are that Ida? Have you completely lost your fear? Do you want to die? The mercenaries were afraid to attack the famous killer, even in a crowd, but they had no other choice. I begun to break them with his bare hands. For him, these pawns are like punching bags. The more serious fighters found Ikal's apartment. They decided to go up the elevator except for the 2 killers. The operator was already waiting for them at the top. She shot the mercenaries and blew up Chenview's double with a grenade. The operator was pinned down by another armed squad. Fortunately, she managed to mine the corridor. Meanwhile, Itold was fighting a crowd of low-level bandits. They managed to cut him down with a vice several times, but the fighter was still holding on. He knocked someone out with a shotgun he had gotten hold of, and burned others alive. It turns out that all this time he was protected by paper armor. The friends went down the stairs and found the girl. Alna went behind the operator and went on the attack. But the killer copes well with 2 opponents at once. Alma took out a string, but in the end she used it for defense, not attack. The operator knocked Elena out and threw the string around Alma's neck. The mercenary was killed very slowly by her own weapon. Elena did not have time to help her. The blonde took out a kukri and attacked the cameraman. But her opponent is too good at knife fighting. Elena gets more and more wounds. However, the cameraman also lost a finger. In the end, she let out Elena's guts and pierced her neck with a knife. A Chinese sniper took aim at him, but the gangster killed the girl. Aryan accuses Atagi of their friends. You are an idiot who is using you. There will be 1 death in 6 seas. Aryan moved from words to deeds and was the first to beat his old friend. Idu was already quite tired. It is difficult for him to resist a small and nimble opponent. So, he has to absorb the damage from his fists. At some point the fight went to the ground. The men began to try to break each other's limbs. Aryan even grabbed Atagi's jaw, hoping to tear it from his skull. The fight is going with varying success. Itachi the enemy on the workbench and tried to sew off the excess with a circular saw. In response, Aryan stuck a screwdriver in it. But he himself fell on the scattered buttons. Then a healthy pipe came into play. Well, and when the opponents found a stationary knife and a sharp splinter, such a massacre began that I definitely cannot show you. The fighters looked like minced meat, and I too won. What are you waiting for? Finish it, kill me. Kill me, you cannot kill someone who is already dead. I tell us to the exit. Aryan raised his pistol but did not shoot. His friend Shinwu came to the warehouse in vain. I sent the puppy to kill the tiger. You made your choice. 6 shooters stood in front of Aryan and stuffed him with bullets. Wounded Italians with little Reina. He ordered her to sail away on the ferry and never come back here again. A huge gang of Triads had gathered at the port. The dying gangster decided to take at least a couple more with him to the next world and rush towards them in a car.